All right, President Obama is touting his green jobs and energy strategy. Case in point, last week in Cleveland.
The plan would end the government subsidies to oil companies that have rarely been more profitable. Let's double down on a clean energy industry that has never been more promising.
Double down? I don't know, rarely been more profitable is probably accurate, but you can read into that what you want. With some $6 billion in taxpayer subsidies and little return, like the implosion of Solyndra, for example, lawmakers today are asking the Obama administration if we, the taxpayers, are getting the best bang for our buck here. Here for a fair and balanced debate is Steve Milloy from junkscience.com, and we have David Mercer, a Democratic strategist. David, let me start with you. In one room today, we had Jamie Dimon taking a beating for losing, $4 billion or however much of his own shareholders' money. In another room, they were talking about $6 billion going down the drain on green energy. Do you see any irony there?
Just to point out some facts, Herb Allison, McCain's former finance chair, did an independent study and found out that the program, which actually was started under Bush, let's not forget that, is actually going to come out $2 billion better. So overall, the loan program is working, and we have SunPower and First Solar and others to proof of that. But nonetheless, the GOP would like to cheer one loss or a couple of losses with Solyndra, waving the white flag when China is only applauding our doing so and us pulling back on and retreating on clean energy.
Steve, let me ask you, because what came out of this committee, if we're going to do numbers, I love to do numbers rather than just debating the emotion. Some 2,378 permanent jobs were claimed to be created under the program. We learned at the hearing that this works out to a cost of $6,731,034 a job. Is that a good investment to use? $6 million, almost $7 million bucks a job?
No, that's a terrible investment. I mean, the reality is that clean energy, green energy, whatever you want to call it, doesn't work anywhere on the face of this planet without massive subsidies and massive mandates. And if we had massive subsidies and mandates, then Pets.com would have worked during the dot-com bubble. The reality is the government has no business dictating green energy. The government completely missed the shale gas revolution. The government needs to stay out of energy and let markets take care of it.
David, why is this worth the investment when, Steve makes the point that if you prop up any industry, it's going to survive and do better? Why pick this over anything else?
Several reasons. One, the Chinese, Great Britain, and other countries are fast taking a leadership in a energy sector that hasn't been developed. And if we could show a little disrespect on the show and not just laugh off something.
I don't know if the cackling is polite. I don't like that. Let's have a fair and balanced debate here and let each other talk.
Yeah, going back to the narrative, we cannot cede that sector of a developing industry that is the fastest growing industry in terms of job creation. That's one. Secondly, we've invested between 2002 and 2008 $100 billion in fossil fuels or in oil and gas. That's been going on for 100 years. There's no reason why we shouldn't be competitive in the creation of more jobs with China and Great Britain and others that are fast taking the leadership. And it's one of the reasons why Solyndra went down, is because of the competition, because of the support of the government in China, and the competition coming from China. So we need not to raise the white flag. We need to charge ahead.
Steve, I'm going to give you the last word real quick, and I wonder if there's a point in time, maybe you help an industry for a while, is there a point in time at which you pull the plug and say, we've helped, now it's time to stand on your own 2 feet?
Look, this stuff is not ready for prime time. No one knows when it's going to be. I'm happy to take the subsidies away from the fossil fuels. You know what? We're still going to be using them, but we're not going to be using wind and solar and the rest of the renewables. Second point, China. China is happy to manufacture and sell this junk to us, which our utilities are required to buy. It's not like, China makes the stuff with low-wage labor, slave labor, forced labor, and they sell it to us. And that's the only way we can afford it. If it was made here, we wouldn't be buying this stuff because we couldn't afford it.
Okay, guys, I wish we can't go ahead.
We can't let and cede the whole industry. You have First Solar and others that are here. There's no reason to forfeit and give it all to the Chinese. That's one. Secondly, I'll say in the last thing or wrap up is that with regard to fossil fuels, we saw what the cost was with BP and with solar energy. When you get a solar spill, that's a good day. With BP, we didn't have a good day or a good year.
Okay, guys, we're going to leave it.
There is no green
We're going to
energy.
leave
It's
it
a
there. I'm
fraud.
sorry. We got to leave it there. Thanks, guys. We appreciate your